Welcome back, everyone. It's Belinda Ellsworth, and we're here with Wealthy Wednesday. And so, this is on wealth building or your mindset around money. It's going to be all things about investing, saving. We're going to talk about profit and loss statements as we go along. So, all things kind of about earning income. And what does wealth mean? And it doesn't always mean income. So we talked last week about just having a mindset of gratitude and bringing joy into your life, and that makes you super wealthy too. But today we're going to talk about your mindset around money, because honestly, why do you not have the money that you really want to bring in? Why is it some people seem to be able to make money no matter what they do? And then other people have really struggle, and they're always month to month in their earnings, and they just can't seem to get ahead, or things that they do just aren't working. And I find this a lot with salespeople. So I have people that go, I've worked with salespeople for the last 30 years. And so they are like, well, I really want to do this, and I'm trying to learn my craft, and they're out there selling their product, and they really believe in it. And yet, there's something that's holding them back. And there is a mindset around being a salesperson. We're going to dive into that. But what I really find is that they have sort of these myths or beliefs about money that have been with them their whole lives. Maybe it's something that they were told when they were young. Maybe it is something that they learned, like some of these myths come in churches. Like I've heard a lot of it. So when people are very religious, or they are, really involved in their church, there is a lot of teachings around that makes people think it's bad to earn money. I've seen this probably the most. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about myths versus the reality, and how can you be more successful, and how can you bring more money into your life? So we're going to cover the myth, and then we're going to talk about the reality of that myth. The first one is money is the root of all evil. So I'm going to dive right into it, because this is probably one of the biggest ones scripture-wise. And there's a lot of people who, that's an important piece of their life. And yet, so then somewhere they were taught that money is the root of all evil. And there are probably, I looked them up, there's like 6 or 7 different scriptures that talk about, about money being bad, or where people get this idea that earning money is evil. If you look up any one of those scriptures, it's the love of money, or when you put money above all else. So it's like doing the right thing. Like, are you still being fair to people, or right to people, or kind to people, or is money allowing you to do things that are bad? Is going after that money allowing you to cheat or lie or steal or anything else? Like, that is what all those scriptures are based in. Are you leading a life? Is it all based on money over everything else? It's not about your ability to earn money. In fact, there's just as many biblical verses about having an abundant life, and about being able to be a good employer, and being a good employee. Like, there are just as many different verses about this, and yet this is the one that is driven home to everyone in this particular realm. And I've worked especially with a lot of women, and this is something that they're just clinging on to, that you can't really, if you make a lot of money, then you're not living a really good life. And that just simply is not true. And then a lot of it is like what you choose to do with that money. And like, are you giving back to society? Are you sharing that? Are you sharing your knowledge? Are you sharing your wealth? Like, what are you doing with that? So that comes into the whole greed thing. But it's not the ability to earn money that is wrong. And that's where people get so hung up in this myth that money is the root of all evil, and it isn't. Money affords you to do really a lot of wonderful things, not just for yourself and your family, but for others. There's a certain peace that it allows you in your life because you're not worried about this and you're not constantly having stress about this. You can have a more fulfilled life if you are able to earn an income that you deserve. And that's the other thing is people feel that they're not deserving of it. Here's the next myth. Money doesn't buy happiness. So somehow people think that if you make a lot of money, then you possibly can't be happy. So yes, it's true. If I make a ton of money and I am not doing anything else in my life to bring in joy or to spend time with people or to have experiences that are like really meaningful, then I'm probably going to be, if all I do is work, I'm probably not going to be a well-rounded, happy individual if that's all that I do and I am a slave to that job and maybe I don't even enjoy the job, right? So is working all those hours going to make me happy? Is it going to buy happiness? And so, no, probably not. But does that mean that if I make a lot of money, I can't have happiness? Somehow there's this equation with being, sort of poor and that then you can be happy. Same way with the religious part of it. There's nowhere in the Bible that says you should be a doormat for Jesus. Nowhere. It just doesn't. And so then we get in our heads that we're a bad person if we are trying to earn more income. And it's not. So if you don't get some of these money things like figured out within yourself, then it's going to be difficult for you to really be able to earn the income that you would like or that you desire or that would be good for you and your family to help others. Like there's so many great things that you can do with having extra income. Here's the next myth. You have to work harder to make more money. So exchanging like time for dollars, right? And you do have to have a good work ethic. But you don't have to work harder to make more money. Most of the time, you have to be smarter. You have to learn about new and inventive ways to do things. So just working hard is not going to bring that money. And if it's not bringing the money, then sometimes you have to take a step back and say, I'm working so hard and I'm not getting anywhere. I hear people say this all the time. And it's like, well, are you working in a way that is smarter, not just putting time in, not just exchanging hours for dollars. So doing something meaningful, doing something you enjoy, like all these things and how you show up are going to matter instead of just doing a job that holds space for you that you are not loving, that you don't enjoy, that you dread going to every day. That doesn't mean if you work harder, you're going to make more money. So you got to love what you do. That is one thing I can tell you that I have learned over the years is that you have to have some passion about what you're doing. And when you do, generally the money will follow. We don't do it for the money. I took on a client one time and I've learned over the years, like you've got to be really careful. And the product that they had, I wasn't a huge fan of. And I didn't really agree with it. But they were paying me a lot of money. And I always said, I'm never going to take on something just for the money. But the money felt too good to pass up. It did. So I thought, okay. And then I also thought maybe I could make a difference here. Like I went into it like, oh, like I'm going to bring my knowledge and expertise and maybe we can change the outcomes here. And so I dove in and I did my job. I did a really good job and I helped them do it to the best of my ability. But I didn't change at all. In fact, I started to feel worse about myself for compromising my own morals, my integrity, and to help a company that I truly didn't even agree with the outcome. And so after several months, I just said, like I finished this project and I think I'm going to have to bow out of this and call it a day. And they were just kind of like, what? And of course their solution was to throw more money at it. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the problem is and I started to learn about data that they were saying how this was really good for you. And then I found out that the data was compromised. I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. And there are some people that would do that. So you have to align yourself with things that you're going to be passionate about, that you agree with, that you feel like it's helping others or that it's making an impact on somebody else's life. Like those are the things that you're going to align yourself with, that money is going to start to flow and you are going to feel really good about it. And that's going to empower you in a way to be able to do the things that you want to do for yourself, for your family, and for others around you. And that's a great feeling. All right, next myth. Money or wealth is only for lucky or greedy people. I don't deserve this. So let's talk about lucky people first. I talk to a lot of people that say, oh, yeah, they were lucky. Oh, they were at the right place at the right time. And I always say that there just is, there's not luck. And some people would say, yeah, well, there is luck. No, if you put yourself in enough places, enough times, if you keep going out there and you are putting yourself out there, taking those risks, not being afraid, if you are constantly doing that and networking and showing up, guess what? One of them's going to work. And that's not luck. That is, I've been working at this consistently. So you can't just say, oh, they're successful because they got lucky. And so then we like to just say, so that's not going to happen to me. I'm never lucky like that. But are you putting yourself in enough places, enough at the times for luck to strike? Because that's how it feels and that's how it looks when there's really luck happens to come in that one moment. Yeah, like, oh, wow. So then I showed up and then I did this. And then this person said, hey, I know so-and-so. And they connected me and then bam. And then people think you're just so lucky. No, because I was there and I keep going and I keep making contacts and I keep getting into conversations and I keep putting myself into different moments. And then bam, one of them hits. And then that's when it feels like lucky. So there isn't lucky people. And then the other one is wealth is for only greedy people. And that is not true at all. In fact, I've known so many people that have done really well. And then with that income, they have, been able to donate to different orphanages, or if that's something important to them, or food banks, or they've been able to really make an impact and make a difference. I know that for us, for several years there, part of our proceeds of our planner went to Feeding America because I just felt that was an important thing to do. And I also wanted our people that bought our planner to know that was where it was going. And so that was a win-win. And so when you are making more money, you have those abilities. Doesn't mean that you are greedy. It's not going to make you greedy if you have more wealth. It's what you choose to do with that wealth is how it's going to show up. If I make more, I'll automatically save more. It's another myth about money, and that is not true. There is tons of people that make so much money and they have very little in savings. And you don't have to wait to save until you are making a ton of money. That is another myth. And so it's important that you learn what like percentages or buckets. So like I'm going to pay myself first and it's going to be this much. I am setting aside money into this savings or into this investment fund. Like you need to break up because you're never going to find the money at the end and then be able to save it. So no matter what amount of money that you make, you just decide either 10% or 20% is going here and this percent is going here, and then you live off the percentage that's left. And you will, like every time, you will manage your lifestyle, you will work within it, and you will live within those means. Next one, debt is always bad. And there is healthy debt and there is bad debt or negative debt. And so you can't look at all debt as being negative. And so should you go into debt on just an idea that has no data, no proven strategy, and no idea if it's going to work? So for me, when I started my business, I saved a certain amount to just get started. Then we got started, and then I was able to, I took on a little bit of debt in the very beginning, but I was able to pay that off that very next month. And that's how I looked at it. If I can pay this off on my credit card this following month, that's good. Then I did. And then I was able to do a little bit more until my business then had a really good cycle. And then it was like, okay, I want to be able to do more and I would like to grow faster. So we'll get a revolving line of credit and I will work within that. Always then what? Paying the certain percentage of the earnings back to go toward that instead of just living on the income I was making. That certain percentage had to go back to that revolving credit line. And so then it was always getting itself back down to close to zero or not being out of my control, right? And so I think that you have to learn is you don't want to just borrow on something that you have no idea if it's really going to work. And to go into that could be bad debt, or bad debt could be throwing money away on something that is probably not going to make a difference. And I'm not going to say that I haven't ever done that either, because I have. But it doesn't mean that all debt is bad debt. You know, when you buy a home, for example, you know, is that a bad debt? Not usually, unless you buy the, you know, if you make your house the biggest house in the whole neighborhood and then it's hard to sell because there's no one looking in that neighborhood for that home, then that could be bad debt. But most of the time your home is going to be a good place to have a mortgage and to have that debt, as long as you can afford it and continue to pay it. It's going to generally gain value. I know every home that I've had has gained value along the way. And so it's not a bad debt to have. All right. Next myth is I'm just bad with money. Well, change it. Like there are people that like, if I make more money, I'll just be bad with it. So again, that's the story you tell yourself is the one you will believe. And so you need to say, how can I be better with money? So I've educated myself on money all along the way. You know, when I became divorced and was really on my own for the very first time, I would say that's when I really leaned into. I already had a pretty good understanding. I was the one that pretty much already took care of most of the finances, but not any of the like investments or savings. And then so suddenly I had to do that on my own. And I had to make sure that I was going to be secure in being a single mom. And so I got books on it and I went to a few conferences on it and I learned, I educated myself. I didn't just think, oh, I'm bad with money. If you're bad with money, then change it. Don't let that be, oh, I don't need to earn more money because I'm just bad with it. Figure out how to use it and how to be good with it and figure out how to change your behaviors. And that comes most of the time from learning and applying and saying, I want to change this about myself. Don't just keep saying, just like I did about technology, like, well, I'm not good with technology. Well, get better at it. You might not ever be as good as so-and-so, but at least make yourself a little bit more knowledgeable so that that's not the story that you're telling yourself. The next myth is talking about money is rude. I disagree. And I know that some people probably, I've gotten into conversations. I love talking about ways to make money. Making money makes me super excited. It isn't that I have a love of money. In fact, I would say to you that I fall in love with ideas on how to make money and how to help other people figure out how to make money. I think it's exciting. And so talking about money is not rude and it's not bad. And how is anybody ever going to learn? And how could somebody, if you're in a conversation, like I've had lots of conversations with people about make the art of making money. Like, how can we do that and feel really good about it? And so don't ever think like, oh, this is rude and I don't want to talk about it, because then when you constantly feel that way, there's some shame in earning. And anytime you're feeling bad about earning money or you feel shame in earning money, then you're not going to be at your best in doing it. And then that just stops that whole flow of sort of that abundance that is coming in. So get rid of that myth for sure. The next one is, this is big, investing is only for the rich. And a lot of people, they think they have to have a ton of money before they can invest. And I wish more people taught young people. This should be taught even like in high school. Like, it just isn't about investing and about planning for their future. I mean, my goodness, if kids when they were in their 20s learned to just put aside certain amount of their income earnings into an investment portfolio, like what would they have by the time that they're 40 or they're 50? And a lot of times people don't even start till they start making a lot of money, maybe in their 40s, and then they're like, oh, now it's time to invest. Well, they lost 20 years of compound interest and being able to make your money work for you and make more money for you. And you know what? You will always learn to live on the money that you have. Plain and simple. You will, and whether you believe that or not. Of course, there are other things that you can do. You can do like writing down actually where I don't have any money to save or any money to invest. And then you start like listing everything that you spent money on that month. And you go, oh, how much money did I just waste? I always have people do this with time too. I don't have time to do X in my business. I wish I did. And then I'm like, okay, let's do a log of where you're spending your whole day. And then suddenly there's 5 hours that just I wasted doing absolutely nothing that was of any value. So it's like, oh gosh, maybe I do have an hour to work on that. It's amazing when you start to track how you see where you're actually spending your time or not. So it's interesting because I had worked with a financial advising firm. And so we talked about like, what is your lead in that you say? And so a lot of people there would say, oh, I'm with Schwab and Associates, or I'm a financial investor with, XYZ company. And I said, instead lead with what you're going to do for the person. I help people save. I help people build their savings and save on their yearly taxes. And then an average person says, oh, I need that. And so then suddenly people that wouldn't even enter into a conversation with them because they were a quote unquote financial advisor with XYZ company, but now they're saying, I help the average person on how to save and how to save on their yearly taxes. So then people are like, oh, I'm interested. Because otherwise they didn't see themselves as being interested or being available to utilize that person's services. And that's all in a simple way that you introduce yourself. But really what it is the mindset of the people out there that were saying, oh, that's not for me. Ooh, yeah, I don't have that kind of money. And so you don't ever have to have a certain amount of money to invest. We want to start investing and setting aside monies, no matter how much money that you're making. And that's going to put you on that road to financial freedom and feeling safe in the money that you have. The last one, yeah, it's too late to start. And I love David Bach. He's one of my favorite authors on money. And he's got all kinds of really great books. One of the first ones that I read, like I said, when I went through my divorce, was Smart Women Finish Rich. And I just really learned about money and as a woman. But he also has a Start Late, Finish Rich. And so Is it too late to start? Well, it's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to make it better. It's never too late to have an impact and figure things out. So I want to encourage you that it's not ever too late to start. And it's not too late to change your attitude. And so I would like you to kind of go through these different myths that I gave you. And I want you to think, what one are you hung up on? Is it money is the root of all evil, or money can't buy you happiness? Or did somebody tell you along the way that you weren't meant for that? I remember that. I will never forget this as long as I live. So I had reached out to a friend and I said, "Hey, like I'm going to get this franchise, and the only place I can get it is like in your town. And I would love it if you ran it for me, and I will pay you to run it. And, it can be like yours. I was just taking a small amount of that for my investment, to make money on my investment. But I wanted to help her to have that business. And at the same time, I needed it to run in that area because I couldn't get that franchise somewhere else. So she said, okay. So we got all excited, and we were working on it, and off we're going. And by the way, we made our investment back in the first week of business, which was super exciting. So we were in profit after week one. And because we did everything that the blueprint said to do, plus on steroids, we were just like, okay, we're going to do this. But I remember her dad looked at her and said, while we're like doing all this, and I was down there, and he said, "Who do you think you are?" To her, "Who do you think you are? You're like to have your own business, like you're stepping out of your class. Like he said, "This is not the way you were raised." And I was standing in the living room, like, I will never forget this. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, that people felt that way, or that they would convey that to somebody else, that you don't deserve this. You grew up like this, and who do you think you are? And people are going to look at you like you think you're better than somebody else. So this is what she's actually been taught. And now this is, even as adult, what she is being told, that she shouldn't go into this business with me because who does she think she is? And that is not the way she was raised. And it's like, and so I just said to her after we left, I'm like, I'm really sorry. And I go, but that's kind of silly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you were raised. Like, you're going to be able to help women. We're going to be able to do something really great in this community. And you got to let that go. And she was like, I hear you. I hear you 100%. But like, if you're beat down with those kinds of thoughts and stories and being told about earning income, it is going to inhibit your ability to really earn the income that you can and make an impact, not only on your own life, your family's life, and all of those around you, the people that you encounter. And there's so much good to be done when you are earning a good income, when you have the right attitude about it. So thanks everyone so much. I hope you'll join us tomorrow when we're going to be talking about life lessons, and you're going to enjoy that too. Thursdays are going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be special. So not as much training, and a little bit more relaxed. And so usually some type of life lesson. So I hope you'll join us for that. And thank you so much for watching today. I hope you'll hit like, subscribe, and then if you really liked it and you know somebody that's struggling with this, hit share and share this with them. Thank you so much.